Sydney's COVID outbreak is no longer confined to the northern beaches, with new cases tonight identified in the inner west, northern suburbs and as far south as Wollongong. While contact tracers get to work, police are too, as anger grows over a wedding that breached lockdown restrictions.
It's the wedding that now has all of Sydney talking.
It's just a bastard act.
All of us were left shaking our heads.
It's inappropriate behaviour.
Diana and Mark were celebrating their marriage on Sunday night. By Monday, the bride herself and a dozen guests, including her family, had been issued $1,000 fines for leaving the northern beaches and attending the event in Pyrmont, defying health orders. Police were tipped off by a call to Crime Stoppers and say more fines are on the way.
The community, by and large, has made great sacrifices over a considerable period of time, and as the Premier said, that's the type of behaviour that we're trying to discourage.
Dalton House maintains it was compliant and was advised by the bride that she and her immediate family had taken all measures, including staying and remaining outside the Northern Beaches cluster region. Family members say the couple had been trying to get married since July and had already cancelled their wedding twice. Another cancellation would cost tens of thousands of dollars. It comes as Sydney reaches a dangerous tipping point. At 8 p.m. last night, the Avalon cluster appeared under control. Just 3 new cases, all of them close contacts already in isolation. But by early this morning, health officials were scrambling. 3 more cases, none with obvious links to the cluster, and all over Greater Sydney. 1 in our northern suburbs, 1 in the inner west, and the third a man in Wollongong.
The risk at Greater Sydney and Greater New South Wales is almost as high as the southern bit of the northern beaches.
The latest testing numbers, though, are a concern after a string of record figures peaking with almost 70,000 tests on Christmas Eve. The numbers have steadily dropped again. In the 24 hours to 8 p.m. last night, just over 16,000 tests were recorded.
Whilst many weeks ago I would have been happy with 16,329 tests in a 24-hour period, for me now I'd want to see those numbers pushed up well over the 20 to 30,000.
Higher testing figures and lower case numbers will give authorities more comfort they'll be able to find the missing links and hopefully ease at least the southern end of the northern beaches out of lockdown from Sunday. But it all hinges on compliance. Now the federal government has temporary visa holders in its sights as anger grows over this backpacker beach party at Bronte.
The federal government will act, if necessary, to cancel those visas and, if we have to, deport people.
A threat that looms large ahead of New Year's Eve.
Jane Azzopardi joins me now in the studio, and Jane, Wollongong is shaping up to be a potential hotspot.
Yeah, that's right, Georgie, and the biggest concern would have to be that this COVID-positive person attended 2 church services on Sunday morning while infectious. So anyone who was at the Nectarios Greek Orthodox Church or the Holy Cross Greek Orthodox Church in Wollongong between 9 and 11 a.m. on Sunday should get tested immediately and self-isolate until they hear from New South Wales Health. There are also some alerts for the Fig Tree Shopping Centre and Wollongong Central between last Monday and Thursday. That would have been at the height of the pre-Christmas shopping. And have a look at this. This was the scene at a testing centre in Wollongong today. New South Wales Health will be hoping that those testing numbers do improve tomorrow. And I should also tell you, Georgie, there is another alert for the northern beaches, this time for Pittwater Place in Mona Vale. It is for all day and every day between Sunday the 13th of December and Saturday the 19th. Anyone who was there is considered a casual contact and must get tested, Georgie.
OK, Jane, thank you for that. Another area of concern is Sydney's inner west, where Hayley Francis is tonight. Hayley, has there been an increase in testing there where you are?
Georgie, it really doesn't appear so. Here at RPA, we haven't seen nearly as many people turn out since the focus shifted to the northern beaches. Now, health authorities want more people from the inner west to get tested, and that's because of one of the 3 cases that remain under investigation. So far, there are no new venue alerts for the inner west, but as we've learned, that can all change very quickly. Georgie?
OK, Hayley, thank you. The Northern Beaches outbreak has left Sydney New Year's cricket test hanging in the balance. Sophie Walsh is at the Sydney Cricket Ground for us. And Sophie, when will a decision be made?
Well, we're expecting an announcement from Cricket Australia very, very soon. And there is still hope, Georgie. We're hearing there's still a 50% chance that the test will go ahead here at the SCG on January the 7th. The stands will be half full to ensure that they're COVID safe, only around 20,000 people. But after a disappointing year, well, even that will be music to cricket fans' ears. The sound of summer in Sydney. Cricket Australia's board spent hours locked in negotiations with the New South Wales, Queensland and Victorian governments. Administrators determined to stick to the schedule, play the New Year's match at the Sydney Cricket Ground and the final test at the Gabba. But with Queensland shutting its border to Greater Sydney in the wake of the Northern Beaches outbreak, they needed Anastasia Palaszczuk to play ball.
We're at the behest of other state governments, and I've said from the outset that every response has to be proportionate to the risk.
Players are protected by a biosecurity bubble that require exemptions from the Queensland government. Health officials there giving players the green light to cross the border, but as with the NRL and AFL, they need to play by the rules.
They would need to follow the same arrangements that we've had in place for other sporting codes when they travel from a hotspot, which means that they go into a quarantine hotel and the only reason they leave is for training or to play the match.
It's further inflamed relations between the feuding premiers after Gladys Berejiklian guaranteed a COVID-safe test at the SCG with 50% crowd capacity.
The overreaction in relation to some parts of dealing with the pandemic from other state premiers, I think, is evident, and this is another example.
The Sydney Test is home to some of Australia's most iconic sporting moments.
Sconford, there it is!
Steve Waugh's famous last ball century in 2003, double centuries from legends Brian Lara and Sachin Tendulkar, Shane Warne and Glenn McGrath's memorable Test farewell, and for more than a decade has become awash in pink for Australian sport's biggest charity day. But today's backroom dealings providing drama away from the pitch.
Yeah, where we play doesn't really affect us or bother us at this stage.
Sophie Walsh, 9 News.
The new unlinked cases have prompted yet another New Year's Eve cancellation. Fairfield Council's Illuminate event becoming the latest casualty. But in the city, preparations for the fireworks are ramping up, even if it's a party without any people.
Wiring up for their 23rd Sydney New Year's Eve display, never did the Foti Fireworks family think they'd be preparing a show smaller than ever and almost entirely for TV.
Obviously, you're trying to pack as much punch in 7 minutes and what you can, and we'll try and do that justice.
As the fireworks installation continues on the water, on the ground, barriers are going up and warnings are being repeated.
Limit your movements, limit your gatherings, ensure that we don't have a super spreading event.
Fence lines stretching along the harbour.
We're going to be turning off all the barbecues at 5 p.m. and we're going to be fencing off or roping off the huts down at Bronte Beach, because we really don't want a repeat of what happened on Christmas Day.
Police officers will be equipped with powers under the health order to move people on should they be congregating in numbers that are unsafe.
Circular Quay will be part of a new permit-only zone in the city. Up until tonight, Service New South Wales has issued 7,000 passes to get in for those with restaurant bookings or an invitation to a house party. Everyone else will be turned away. With foreshore gatherings not an option, the harbour will be crowded, prompting specific health advice for boaties. Cruise vessels have to abide by the 4 square metre rule on board. Recreational boaties must cap their passengers at 50 and not enter the Northern Beaches zone. Boats off the beaches are allowed, but they have to stay in their area and can only have 10 passengers in the south and 5 in the north.
We expect that there will be boats on the harbour over New Year's Eve. The Marine Area Command will have resources on the harbour like they would every other New Year's Eve.
While the Premier is begging people not to come into the city and many councils are closing parks, picnics of up to 50 are allowed and there are still some places to celebrate. Liverpool Council will launch 6 different displays across the suburbs at 9 o'clock and is encouraging families to watch from their driveways. Displays on the Northern Beaches have been cancelled, as have those at Parramatta, Penrith, Brighton, Les Andes and Coogee. Fairfield the latest to cancel their event. If this weather sticks around, it might be the most effective crowd control of all. Liz Daniels, 9 News.